Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Prince Philip's passing. Last year in April of 2021, Prince Philip, the husband to Queen Elizabeth II, passed away, and it is said that The Simpsons might have predicted his death right down to the day. In season 7, episode 3, Home Sweet Home Diddly Dum Doodly, the Simpsons neighbors, the Flanders, temporarily take the children in after a lice outbreak. Apparently they're all driving in a car on the way to church, and baby Maggie suddenly just turns her head to Bart and Lisa and says, quote, "Prince Philip will die on April 9th, 2021. Okay, it's probably the most on-the-nose prediction, and all I can say is, how? Apparently the line has since been replaced in recent versions, but it is said that this is actually what was said in the original broadcast, which happened in 1995, 26 years before his actual passing. It truly is one of those chilling Simpsons predictions moments. In our number 9 spot today, we have the Queen's passing. There are many viral TikToks that have been going around since the Queen's passing that suggest that The Simpsons actually predicted her death. The episode in question is season 15, episode 4, the Regina Monologues, which we will be talking about a few more times today. But to start off with, we have this recent rumor. The TikToks have been edited with certain footage in a way that suggests that this episode did in fact predict the Queen's death, but when we watch the entire episode, that is likely not the case at all. The episode doesn't show the way in which the Queen passed, and also, she doesn't even die in the episode. While this was a very clever trick to get a viral TikTok video, it looks like this is one time when we've all been bamboozled, and the writers didn't quite predict our reality. In our number 8 spot today, we have The Accident. Okay, so we just talked a little bit about the Regina Monologues episode, but that is not where the predictions end for this one. In the episode, the Simpson family rents a Mini Cooper and they start driving around London. Marge is shocked at how well everything is going on their first trip to England, but of course that can only last for so long. They get stuck on a roundabout, which is honestly a universal experience. I mean, they're so confusing when you're not used to them. Why do they even exist? And the family starts to drive in circles for hours. Homer finally decides that enough is enough and decides to break out of the roundabout. When he does this, however, he plows straight through the gates of Buckingham Palace and he slams into Queen Elizabeth II's horse-drawn carriage. Now, we know this didn't happen in real life, but this could be a prediction that something similar might happen in real life. Probably not as a result of a roundabout, but people try to do strange things when it comes to protected places. People try to sneak into Buckingham Palace all the time. It wouldn't necessarily be surprising to see something like this happen, but hopefully this is just a premise that will stay in the animated show where it truly does belong. In our number 7 spot today, we have Standing Trial. After this horse-drawn carriage accident, Homer has no idea who he just knocked down and he starts trying to sort of brush the whole thing off. Of course, this isn't accepted and immediately the Scots guardsmen start beating him to a pulp. After this, however, Homer is put on trial for causing harm to the Queen as well as for wrecking her carriage. On trial, Homer calls the Queen an imposter because her luggage has the inscription HRH. Of course, meant to mean Her Royal Highness, Homer suggests that this is actually short for Henrietta R. Hippo. Can totally see how he got there. Rather than believing this is a prediction that the Queen is really Henrietta Hippo, some people believe that this is just a grim prediction for a monarch's future. Of course, there are plenty of safety protocols put in place, but some are worried that this might mean that this episode might be predicting that we will see someone stand trial in the future for trying to harm the head of state. Whether or not you enjoy the royal family, it's safe to say that most people hope that they don't get harmed, either intentionally or otherwise, so hopefully this is one prediction that just does not come true. In our number 6 spot today, we have the sentencing. For the final prediction that comes with this whirlwind of an episode, after Homer accuses the Queen of being Henrietta R. Hippo, she is of course outraged and she sentences him to being imprisoned in the Tower of London, later to be executed by beheading, and to have his head placed on a spike. In the end, the Queen does pardon Homer, but some have suggested that this might be a prediction that we might see some old historical and horrifying royal practices come back in the future. We'll talk about a similar kind of prediction with another royal family member later in this list, but some people believe that these sort of gruesome forms of capital punishment might end up coming back. To end off this episode, the Queen only agrees to pardon Homer on the condition that the Simpson family take Madonna with them when they left. I don't think that part is any kind of real prediction, I just wanted to include it because it's pretty funny. In our number 5 spot today, we have royal spying. In an episode of of The Simpsons, the now King Charles III, along with his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, can be seen watching over Springfield. They're doing this through surveillance cameras that have been planted all over the town. Some people have suggested that this perhaps is a prediction that could already be happening or might be something that our future holds. It's safe to say that the UK already does have its fair share of CCTV cameras, which for many reasons is great, but of course people worry about being spied on, which is entirely fair. I don't necessarily think that the royal family just sits around spying on everyone, but there is definitely potential that they, or people working from them, know more than anyone would like to know, making the royal family sound like the CIA, but who knows? The Simpsons have definitely predicted stranger things. In our number 4 spot today, we have the Tyrant. This is one prediction that The Simpsons made that, while hopefully unlikely, we'll definitely just have to wait and see to find out. In The Simpsons, while Prince Harry doesn't make a lot of appearances, they do include him in the show, of course, and they have quite a grim prediction for his future self. They suggest that perhaps in the future Prince Harry has risen to power. It's not so bad. Prince Harry is certainly one of the more likable members of the royal family. I know for some of you that's a hot take, but regardless, although Harry is not in line for the throne and has almost mostly renounced his royalty, he is still part of the family, and again, stranger things have happened. Once in power, however, things go awry and Harry proves to be an entirely different person than anyone would have expected. In The Simpsons, once in power, Harry becomes a ruthless tyrant who is so bad that he reinstates capital punishment, but this time he's taking a tip from his ancestors. It's not just regular modern day capital punishment that we see now, it is of course in royal family fashion done in the form of beheadings. In our number 3 spot today, we have Out of Control. This is another Simpsons prediction that, depending on how you look at it, could be one that you could say did come true. When the Simpsons family went to England, most of the newspapers in the episode showed that they were reporting on the trial of Homer for harming the Queen. Of course, that's like one of the central focuses of the episode, so it makes a lot of sense, but there is one paper that has a different headline. In the episode, it's actually the Daily Mail, and they have the headline, quote, "Bart and Prince Harry out of control," and it shows a picture of the two outside of a bar. Now, I'm not saying that Prince Harry went on a pub crawl and got messy with Bart Simpson, but there are people who didn't enjoy how Prince Harry has chosen to live his life. We all have haters, no worries Prince Harry, but many people would suggest that his behavior is, quote, out of control. I personally disagree, but I know not everyone does. It's safe to say that Prince Harry likely won't be seen outside of any bar on a newspaper cover anytime soon, but who am I to say for sure? In our number 2 spot today, we have King Henry VIII. Less of a prediction for the future, considering this episode was strictly about historical figures. Season 15, episode 11, Margical History Tour, takes us back in time and shows us a Simpsons version of the life of King Henry VIII. Known for being quite a terrible person and an absolutely horrible husband, the episode, while of course taking quite a few liberties, really is surprisingly accurate for a comedy animation show. The king was married 6 times, and in the episode he beheads quite a few of his wives. In reality it was only 2, but still 2 is more than enough for us in the future to add a couple extra in for dramatic effect. While this episode is just a fun premise for a silly episode, some worry that this might be a prediction for how the royal family might fall back into some old practices. Queen Elizabeth II was incredibly loved by those who support the monarchy, and it's safe to say that her successor does not have the same kind of adoration. This makes people worried that things might end up in a more grim place than how the Queen left them. In our number 1 spot today, we have Prince Christian. A departure from the British royal family, this young prince made a debut in the animated show. Prince Christian of Denmark, who is now 16, is 12 years old in the episode. The Simpsons family travels to Denmark for a medical treatment for Grandpa, and it is here that Lisa meets the man of her dreams, the skateboarding prince. The episode skips to the future and it shows Lisa and the prince getting married and waving from their balcony. Of course, no one thinks that this very real prince is going to marry the very fictional Lisa Simpson, but some believe that perhaps this might be a prediction for the future of the prince's love life. Normally, royal marriages are strategic, but it's possible, similar to Prince Harry, that Prince Christian might just meet his future love in a more non-traditional fashion. The prince is obviously still quite young, so only time will tell with this one.
Okay, starting us off, in at number 10, we have Teleportation.
I take it from that little impressed noise that you are interested in purchasing that matter transporter, sir.
The Simpsons created this scene that took place at a garage sale, and what was up for sale was this teleporting machine. This episode seemed way into the future because the machine was being sold for just $2, as if it was like just a normal item.
$2 and it only transports matter? I'll give you 35 cents.
Sold.
Homer Simpson bought it. He was kind of unsure about it, but he bought it and he took it home to use. He put one of the devices on the bottom of his stairs and he put the other device on the top of his stairs, and that's what he used the machine for. So now he never has to use the stairs again. I'm pretty sure there are much better ways to use a teleporting machine. What would you guys use a teleporting machine for? Let me know in the comment section below. And please give me better ideas than Homer Simpson. Next up, number 9, I think it would be awesome in 2020 to have our first ever female president of America.
Excellent question. Yes, I am proud to be America's first straight female president. Helen?
Wasn't I wearing a hat?
Yes, you were.
Presidency has been around since 1789, and for hundreds of years, there just never was a female president. I don't know why. I think it's time to change that. Hillary Clinton was very close to being the first ever female president of America. Well, we should see a higher number of females running for presidency in 2020. I know President Donald Trump would be devastated to be beaten by a female, but I think it's time for change. Imagine Oprah running. I think she would beat him for sure. Others who would probably beat Trump is Ellen DeGeneres, Michelle Obama, Taylor Swift, Beyonce. Let's add her onto this list. She'd be the best singing president of all time. And actually, you know what? Thinking about it, I can probably list so many people that would be awesome presidents in 2020. Who do you guys think should be the next American president? And list females only. And if it had to be a male who's going to be the next president, I would vote for Morgan Freeman. And let's just hope he gives speeches like very often, because I would just listen to him, and whatever he said, I would just say yes. And I would listen to the president until I fell asleep at night, like every single night. Is that a little creepy? I think so. So you know what? Let's move on. Let's move on to number 8. From teleporting to a female president and now to time traveling to the past, because why not? How sick would that be? I don't even know where I would go.
I've gone back to the time when dinosaurs weren't just confined to zoos.
I would probably go back in time to confirm a few things. Maybe find out who the first flat earther was. I would want to witness the first moon landing, maybe take a look at some dinosaurs, maybe find out what actually wiped them out, and I would also time travel to find out what came first, the chicken or the egg, because that is a pretty important thing to figure out. Number 7, hovering of vehicles. Okay, who knows, this one can actually be reality soon. Technology is advancing so much, so why not? How awesome would this be? You don't have to worry about traffic ever again. You can just fly over vehicles. It won't be scary to drive in the wintertime because you don't have to worry about slipping on ice. Concepts for flying cars have already started. It seems very scary, but flying in airplanes used to be terrifying, but now it's a pretty normal thing. At number 6, we have commercial jetpacks. Jetpacks for everyone. Jetpack for you, jetpack for you, jetpack for Oprah. The Simpsons had an episode where Chief Officer Wiggum became the Sky Police. Imagine this.
I'm not the police anymore. I'm the Sky Police. Okay. I think I got it.
I think this would be so cool. I would never be late for work ever again. I could just jetpack to the studio. I mean, jetpacks have been around, but not for commercial use. Imagine it being sold at Walmart.
With this, the only fully functional jetpack in the world.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Moving into number 5, imagine magic is real. Well, take a look at this.
Gold. Sweet gold. Why didn't you ever tell us you could do magic?
Now, this would either be awesome or a really bad thing, a horrible idea. You wouldn't want magic to be in the wrong hands. Maybe if we can have like some sort of quality control over magic, it would be so amazing to have. We could magically create food for a country that doesn't have enough food, we can create water, and we can even cure people. With magic, there's just an endless amount of things that we can do. Imagine we only had so much magic in the world. I wonder how we would vote and what we would use the magic for. Like, what if we had like only like 100 spells and that's it? I don't know what the most important thing is right now with trying to fix the world. This has me thinking way too much, so you know what, let's move on to something else. Something like cloning. Well, cloning comes up at number 4. Imagine being able to make 2 of yourselves. Chores would be done so much faster, and if you want days off of work, you could just send your clone into work. Or maybe you can have like 10 jobs so you can bring in more money. Because the economy these days, it just sucks. So cloning people would either be the best thing or the worst idea ever. But you heard it first here on The Simpsons.
Oh, I gotta get rid of these guys.
Finally pay it off. Well, at least I got my health.
Alright, moving on to number 3. Imagine having the ability to bring people back to life. Who would you guys bring back? I would bring back so many people. Well, in a Simpsons episode, in the future, Bart Simpson was brought back to life with a quick zap of a gun.
Say, let's bring him back to life by using technology.
Ay, caramba!
And actually, scientists are already working on bringing people back to life. People are cryogenically freezing themselves in the hopes that one day they'll be brought back to life. For example, if some people have cancer and they're losing the battle, they'll try to freeze themselves in time, hoping that in the future when technology comes around, they'll be able to cure them. And then they can be melted down and cured. Organizations are actually charging people as much as $200,000 to have this done. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing and if it's going to be even possible to one day revive the dead, but you know what? It's an interesting thought to think about. Number 2, personalized robots.
With their new love bots. Make me a Bloody Mary, dollface.
No, Selma. Even a robot built only to love you cannot love you. I am leaving with your sister's concudroid.
Imagine your own robot. I honestly think this could be a reality. They can help you with everyday tasks. There would be no more loneliness. Not too long ago, China, they actually just debuted their first AI news anchor, and it's just incredible. It's scary though. The future seems to be closer than we think. Take a look at this.
Hello, everyone. I'm an English artificial intelligence anchor. This is my very first day in Xinhua News Agency. My voice and appearance are modeled on Zhang Zhao, a real anchor with Xinhua. The development of the media industry calls for continuous innovation.
Is this real life right now? How is that a robot? It's just too real. It's pretty scary when you think about it. And didn't we just have a robot last year become the first ever robot citizen of Saudi Arabia?
So, hold on, can you solve this puzzle for us? Can robots be self-aware, conscious, and know they're robots?
Well, let me ask you this back. How do you know you were human?
Finally, at number 1, superpowers. Imagine science figured out a way to give everyone superpowers. Well, maybe not the criminals. I would probably pass on them. But how awesome would this be?
The radioactive explosion gave us the power to move things with our intellect.
Flowers for the lady? Bart, what powers did your brain give you?
Just imagine the Harry Potter movie being real. I don't think everyone having superpowers would be good, but what if a selection of people who were highly trained enough, well, they were the ones that were allowed to have superpowers to fight justice. They would be called superhero crime fighters. Having superpowers could save millions of lives, but given in the wrong hands, it might destroy millions of lives. So maybe we gotta rethink that one.
Starting off this countdown, we have the trucker convoy. Recently, here in Canada, truckers are protesting around Parliament Hill against COVID-19 mandates. A convoy of big rigs are in Ottawa, blocking off streets and access to the Parliament. And it seems like The Simpsons might have predicted this. In Season 10's Episode 17, Homer and Bart go on a cross-country journey as truck drivers. While doing so, they encounter truck convoys. And then, the trucks attempt to run them off the road before blocking the road completely. In fact, when Homer first spots the trucks, he says to Bart, "Look, son, it's one of nature's most beautiful sights, the convoy." This episode aired in 1999. Now, what's actually funny is someone edited a clip from another Simpsons episode with this one. The episode was from Doe, Canada. In the clip, we see Trudeau escaping his office while the convoy heads towards him. Now that part is fake, like I said, they edited 2 clips together, it's hilarious, but still, many people think that The Simpsons predicted this whole trucker protest situation. In our 9th spot, we have the large-scale environmental disaster. Scientists have been concerned for a while now about the state of our Earth. Due to climate change and global warming, we are going to be experiencing more drastic, severe, and unpredictable weather, like floods, droughts, hurricanes, and wildfires, etc. We're at a point of no return, and in a couple of years, Earth might be completely destroyed. The Simpsons movie talks about a massive environmental disaster that basically leads to the destruction of Springfield, or almost destruction of Springfield. The disaster is caused by Homer dumping a silo of pig feces into an already polluted Springfield lake. And as we all know, pollution is a huge problem worldwide. It's causing our air to become toxic and unbreathable in some places. In other places, it's polluting water supply and soil and contaminating crops. So The Simpsons might have been onto something with that movie. In our 8th spot, we have the Colonization of Mars. This year might have been the year in which we colonize Mars. In season 27, episode 16, titled Margian Chronicles, Lisa signs up to be part of a mission to colonize Mars. As a result, she ends up on Mars with Marge. In the Simpsons episode, I believe it takes place in the year 2026, but Elon and his team at SpaceX have been trying to develop cargo ships leaving for Mars in 2022. So it certainly will be the start of the colonization of Mars. In fact, by 2050, he wants to send 1 million people to Mars. How wild is that? Would you sign up to go to Mars though? Let me know in the comments below. I personally would not, okay? I like it here. Moving on to number 7, we have the Bigfoot. Do you believe in the Bigfoot? I mean, over the years, a number of people have claimed to have encounters with it, so maybe it is real. But most of the population thinks it's all just a hoax. According to The Simpsons though, this year we might find out more information on this furry beast. So there's 2 episodes I'm going to refer to here. In one episode, Homer is on a camping trip and ends up looking like Bigfoot after falling into some mud. He's then captured by scientists for observation. They think they finally found this mysterious beast. Then in an episode from 2002 titled The Bart Wants What It Wants, Bart encounters Bigfoot while exiting a bus in Canada. Why does The Simpsons keep hinting at the Bigfoot? Do they know something that we don't know? In our 6th spot, we have the NFTs. NFTs are all the rage lately, and I'm not gonna lie, I still don't completely understand them. All I know is that people are buying these images of apes wearing different outfits, and they're called the Bored Apes. Surely you all have seen it by now and know what I'm talking about. Well, take a look at this image of Lisa Simpson and tell me that it doesn't look like it could be part of someone's collection of NFTs. This image alone has people thinking that The Simpsons predicted the rise of NFTs. But let me know your thoughts. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the cryptocurrency. Alongside NFTs, the other thing on the rise is crypto, and another thing that I once again know nothing about. But in an episode from 1997, The Simpsons made a reference to it. So this is from season 8, and the episode is titled My Sister, My Sitter. In the episode, there's a scene where we see Homer and Marge on a date outside. In the background, we see a crypto barn. It's literally called Crypto Barn, with the slogan, "A place for codes." Coincidence? Maybe, but why did they have that in the episode? And it's a place where you can buy codes. It's a little weird. The Simpsons video game Tapped Out also mentions this place. In fact, this property is the most expensive place in the game, with a price tag of $81,000 US. I don't know, the whole thing is just so wild to me. Moving on to number 4, we have mind control music. Now there's a reason why us humans feel so connected to music. Certain sounds have the ability to comfort us, irritate us, make us happy, make us sad. And it might just be that they will eventually control us completely. First off, let's take a look at an episode from 2001 called New Kids on the Blech, or Blech, I don't know how to pronounce it, BLECCH. In the episode, we see Bart in a new band with his friends, but the band was using a secret mind control device for the Navy. So their music is actually a psychological operation that is used to send children subliminal messages and control their mind. So people believe that in the future, songs will be used to control us. Some people believe it's already begun. Like back in the day, there was that whole case of 2 people shooting themselves after listening to the song Better by You, Better Than Me. One of the men survived, revealed that while listening to the song, they heard what sounded like "Let's be dead," and then it just kept chanting do it, over and over again. So it persuaded them into taking their own lives. So there might possibly be a rise in hidden messages in songs in an attempt to control us. Moving on to number 3, we have World War III. Now, I really hope this prediction doesn't come true this year or at all. But according to The Simpsons, it might. In the 1995 episode titled Lisa's Wedding, we dive 15 years into the future. From there, we see what life is like in the future. Now, in the episode, we see Homer and Lisa's fiance, Hugh, drinking at Moe's bar. During the scene, a very weird exchange goes on between Moe and Hugh, suggesting that there was a 3rd World War. And with the whole Ukraine-Russia situation going on right now, this prediction has me spooked. Moving on to number 2, we have robots turning against humans, aka the robot takeover. There are so many movies out there that have showed us what happens when we give robots too much autonomy. But still, scientists are determined to make super powerful, smart, and independent robots, which is definitely not smart at all. Soon robots are going to become way smarter. In fact, most of them already are, but then they can just be like, hey, I don't want to be under your control anymore, and then they can just start attacking us. Anyways, The Simpsons predicted that a robot takeover will happen. In fact, they hinted at this multiple times in different episodes. One of them being the episode titled Itchy and Scratchy Land, which was episode 4 in season 6. In this episode, large animatronic robots go haywire and cause mass destruction. They basically turn into killing machines, threatening the Simpsons' lives. Then there's this episode titled Them Robots, which is the 17th episode of season 23. And in this episode, Mr. Burns replaces all of the power plant workers with robots. But then this goes terribly wrong and the robots start to turn on the community. So The Simpsons not only predicted that robots will take over our jobs, but also that they'll turn against us and try to wipe out the human race. How fun. Let's just hope that this prediction doesn't come true this year or at all. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Metaverse. The Metaverse is defined as a simulated environment that uses augmented reality, virtual reality, and blockchain. In this world, it mimics the real world, and in it you can interact, socialize, work, game, and experience other things that you would normally do in the real world. And guess who predicted this in an episode from over a decade ago? The Simpsons. In the episode, we see the characters attach a cord to themselves and then disappear into a different reality. In this other reality, they have features like a place that you can go gamble and a virtual friends list where you can add or reject people, kind of like Facebook, adding or rejecting friend requests. It's eerily similar as to what Mark Zuckerberg has planned, but The Simpsons came up with it first, so Marky Mark is a little thief. Just kidding. Alright guys, that's all for today's video, but let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer Simpsons or Family Guy? Or Futurama? Oh my god, I love Futurama. Anyways, let me know. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shoutout portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 10 Bizarre Glitches in the Matrix You Weren't Meant to See, Part 3. Oh, that rhymed. You weren't meant to see Part 3. Lily Gibson commented, I actually went to high school with one of my doppelgangers. We could fool people into believing that we were twins. We even got listed as twins in a cheer competition flyer thing. We weren't related and we don't look the same anymore, but it was a bit eerie. That is a bit eerie, but then you grew out of it, so you're not really doppelgangers anymore, so I don't think that counts. I've always wanted to know who my doppelganger is. Let me know in the comments below. I get Sophie Turner a lot. I don't see it. She's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. I don't see it. Joe Jonas though? Hi. Alex McNoya Biz, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, commented, I love Lindsay's commentary, can't get enough of you, girl. Keep up the awesomeness. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Lisa Connolly commented, loving your words of comfort for everyone to stay strong. You're golden, girl. Yeah, honestly, it's a hard time. I'm feeling it. People are like, how are you always putting up a good front? I'm like, I'm not, I'm suffering. But yeah, I just want everyone to stay strong enjoy themselves. If you guys can use these videos to distract yourselves from what's going on, then do it. I'm just here to entertain you, and yeah, I just want everyone to be happy.
Starting us off at number 10, Ivanka 2028. Now, you might remember a certain season 11 episode where The Simpsons accurately predicted the election of Donald Trump a whole 17 years prior to his actual inauguration. But could we be in for another presidential prediction? In 2016, before the initial Trump prediction had ever seen the light of day, it seems like they slyly added in another layer that will have us on edge for the next 6 years, waiting to see if it comes true. The Treehouse of Horror episode begins innocently enough, as Homer takes Bart shopping for a Christmas tree on Halloween, joking with his son that they're shopping because everything in America is way too early. But then Homer opens up his Bender costume to reveal an Ivanka 2028 badge underneath, saying, "See?" as he giggles to himself in his classic Homer fashion. The scene then cuts, and it's never spoken of again. So what do you think? Will the prediction come true just as it did for Donald? Or will this be simply another silly Simpsons skit? Coming up next at number 9, the death of George Clooney. Now, The Simpsons seem to have predicted many celebrity deaths like Arnold Palmer, Kobe Bryant, and maybe even Queen Elizabeth II. But could they be right about our beloved actor George Clooney too? Now, in this Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer, in an attempt to use images of celebrities in ads without their consent, kills off both Prince and Neil Armstrong, who strangely enough have since passed. George Clooney is the third celebrity he kills by causing him to slip into quicksand on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, considering the fate of the first 2 celebs in this episode, it definitely seems a little creepy. Could The Simpsons be predicting that the end is near for Clooney? Let's just cross our fingers and hope that George is here to stay for a long while. Next up at number 8, suppression of green energy. Now, as our technology advances, so do our cars. We already have completely electric cars sweeping the market, and slowly but surely, it seems like we're making great strides towards cleaner energy sources. But are The Simpsons predicting that it could all be going downhill? In the 582nd episode of the series, Lisa invents a car powered by solar energy, something that's actually already starting to be developed in places like MIT. Lisa enters her car into an alternative energy derby race, but right as she's about to cross the finish line, a Duff blimp blocks out the sun, stopping her in her tracks immediately. While this may just seem like a silly coincidence, it wouldn't be out of pocket to think that huge conglomerates could be plotting ways to stop renewable energy sources, sabotaging the uprise of greener sources. Next up at number 7, the end of American civilization. In season 24, while visiting his usual spot, Moe's, Homer runs into a doomsday prepper who warns him of the inevitable social collapse. He goes on to tell him that anarchy lurks around every corner and that it will be the end of civilization, stating that it's coming home to an America near you. Homer responds to the prepper by saying, "America can't collapse, we're as powerful as ancient Rome." The doomsday prepper then goes on to show him a video detailing what he believes to be the inevitable decline of our civilization due to our dependence on the system. Like how if supermarkets close, we starve, or if taps get shut off, we'd be forced to drink the blood of animals? And by the end, has Homer completely convinced. Now, while I can't foresee it all playing out exactly as the video imagines, could The Simpsons be trying to tell us something? Will America as we know it cease to exist? I mean, you can already buy bunkers on the internet, so they wouldn't be the first ones to think so. Coming in at number 6, World War III. This season 6 episode contained many predictions that thankfully have yet to come true. And so I think it goes without saying why we're all praying that the same will be true for their prediction of another world war. Back in this 1995 episode titled Lisa's Wedding, she visits a psychic who sees 15 years into her future, telling her all about what her life will become. Now, I know, 15 years from 1995 was 2010, making it 12 years ago for us, but we still don't want to take our chances with this one. During the episode, Lisa's fiance Hugh goes out to Moe's bar with Homer, where Moe, learning that Hugh is British, snarkily hands him a beer, saying that it was they, meaning the US, who saved him during World War II. But Hugh is quick to reply, claiming, yeah, but it was us that saved you in World War III, which Moe admits is true. While I would love to say that this idea seems preposterous, could the Simpsons be right? Are we in store for yet another world war? Let's just hope that they got this one totally wrong. Taking our number 5 spot, no more sunlight. While it's no secret we love the modern conveniences of electricity, I think we can all agree that nothing will ever replace that big ball of light in our sky. I don't know if any of you have ever lived in a basement apartment before, but I can tell you from experience that no sunlight in your house makes for a pretty awful time. So I can definitely say that I'm praying this season 7 prediction stays as far away from reality as possible. Mr. Burns, the local nuclear power plant owner of Springfield, decides that in order to fill his pockets, he'll force everyone in the town to use up more electricity by making the sun disappear. He goes on to create a giant plate at the end of a movable arm that completely blocks out the sun from the whole town, forcing the citizens to fully rely on artificial light to help them get around. Now, can I foresee a real-life billionaire pulling this off? Well, maybe not in the way that Mr. Burns decides to black out the sun, but is it impossible to imagine some uber-rich tycoon figuring out some sinister plan to make us all pay more in electricity and keeping natural light a thing of the past? All I can say is I sure hope it never comes true. Coming up at number 4, iRobot? I know we've all had that same nightmare. One day we wake up and the robots that once made our lives easier and better turn on humans, taking over the world and destroying everyone in their path. Well, this 1994 episode predicted a similar fate. While on a trip to visit Itchy and Scratchy Land in season 6, Homer and the family are left fearing for their life when a horde of high-tech robots come to life and wreak havoc, aiming to harm his family. Now, as this was Itchy and Scratchy Land, the robots were programmed to be violent, but a park employee tells them not to worry because the robots have been specifically programmed not to harm humans. Where have we heard that one before? Nothing could go wrong. Well, luckily Homer figures out that a camera flash immobilizes the bots and is able to save his family from their deathly fate. But let's just agree. Keep the robots away because as we've all learned time and time again, they will get too smart and we will all have to face the consequences. Next up at number 3, music mind control. It's a tale as old as time. It's the music that those young kids are listening to that's pointing them towards the devil's ways. We saw it with Elvis in the 50s, rock and roll bands in the 80s, and rappers in the 90s, where rumor had it that if you played the record backwards, you would hear the devil himself. And though of course all of that was nonsense, what if the government really did figure out a way to control the world's children through music? Well, according to this 2001 episode, it could become a reality. Titled New Kids on the Block, Bart finds himself meeting a music producer who offers him a chance to be a star and join a boy band with his friends Nelson, Ralph, and Milhouse. But it's not all as innocent as it seems when their single Drop Da Bomb is released and the line "Even et Neoj" is in the chorus. Well, of course, Lisa is quick to dive into this peculiar situation and realizes it's backwards for join the Navy. She is quick to confront this so-called manager of Bart only to find out that he's a Navy lieutenant and tells her that for a long time popular music has been used as a recruiting tool by the military. I don't know about you, but this one seems eerily possible, so I'm just definitely crossing my fingers that we don't see this happening. Coming in at number 2 is the zombie apocalypse. For as long as I can remember, zombies have been a huge part of pop culture, so it's no surprise the Simpsons seem to have a prediction about them too. In a 2009 Treehouse of Horror episode, the local burger joint Krusty Burgers releases a new menu item coined by the Krusty Clown as Burger Squared. All he does is take grade A beef cows, kill them, and then feed their meat to more cows. The second cows get turned into the burgers, and voila, a new masterpiece hits the town of Springfield. Well, until it starts turning the whole town into zombies, or as they call them, munchers, terrorizing the town and taking down everything in their path. While it seems far-fetched, could the Simpsons be onto something here? Could some strange, genetically modified meat be the cause of our societal collapse? And lastly, in our number 1 spot is the Reanimation Machine. While we are always suspecting an episode with Sideshow Bob to give us the heebie-jeebies to some extent, it really kicks it into high gear when he's on a Halloween special. Once again, in this Treehouse of Horror episode titled Wanted, Dead or Alive, Bob finally kills Bart just as he's been trying to do for years. But it's not just that. it's much, much worse. He doesn't just kill Bart once. Oh no, he kills him over and over and over again. With the help of his so-called reanimation machine, Bob is able to revive Bart, making it possible to kill him repeatedly in different ways and as many times as he likes. Well, to me, the science seems pretty impossible on this one. Can you imagine if such a machine was actually invented? If it got into the wrong hands, it could be detrimental to humanity and cause an insane amount of harm. So let's just hope that this one stays on the screen and far, far away from our lives. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Kennedy, and don't forget to subscribe.